Acolytes, before we actually start the video, link from Count Dankula's reporting about Ruby Ridge is down there, so you can inform yourself beforehand if you so wish. So, remember that. Welcome, Acolytes. Right now, I was actually working on something different, but thank you to just social media chaos. Ace1918, short for Otaku defending Ruby Ridge. Now, this is something that I am extremely surprised by, because from the information that I got about Ruby Ridge, it's not something you should be defending, to be quite honest. It was basically a family that wanted to get the fuck out, be left alone, and at the end of the day, they got shafted by the state itself, as I understand it. Of course, I could be wrong about some of those things, because, well, but the information that is available, it was terrible. It was effing terrible, and while I'm talking, I am actually thinking about how could you even defend this. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know how. I just don't. But for those who are interested, why am I using the old model again? Well, sunken cost fallacy. I should have done it from the start, but this will be something different if there's enough interest of actually knowing this. So, let's just start.
Everyone, Ace here, and today let's talk a little bit more about Short Fat Otaku, who is simply incapable of avoiding L's at this point, as demonstrated in this situation, for example, where a dev has taken to defending the government's actions at Ruby Ridge. Essentially,
for F's sake, he's really... The thing is, dev is going so deep into defending the government for the most part. I really had to look up a lot of arguments myself because I just didn't believe 90% of the shit that was told. But for F's sake, this guy, every single effing time, he's crazy. Literally, he's crazy. It's just... He's defending the state as if it was about his life. And it's just as I actually understand it, because in the end of the day, okay, I could be wrong. I'm gonna be honest, I would rather be wrong about stuff like this than be right, but for F's sake, honestly, no. Okay, come on, just that.
Taking up the argument that the Weaver family deserved what happened to them. This was, for the record, during a live stream in which he also provided his position on the Waco siege, which he naturally also defended, though I am going to be focusing on the Ruby Ridge situation, partly because this is already a very long segment from Dev's live stream, but also because Ruby Ridge is a far more blatant example of government actions being utterly unjustifiable. Now, I was going to provide the full clip here, but then I realized the full clip will be over 21 minutes long, which would mean 21 minutes of raw, unedited Dev from his live stream, whose arguments I could probably counter in less than 5 minutes total, which would be at the point where Dev might try to seriously claim that video and argue that I'm flat out stealing his content or something. So rather than give him an excuse to mess with my channel and try to silence me that way, at this point I wouldn't exactly put it past him. He already broke his own principles months ago to try to silence me in other ways. That said, as a compromise, I've decided to post the entire raw and edited footage on Twitter, which at the very bare minimum should keep my YouTube channel itself safe, if nothing else. I'm also going to be providing a link to the actual live stream itself, which for the record Dev removed from YouTube, but fortunately is still available on Alt Tech, and provide the noteworthy timestamp in question, so you can still watch it for yourself if you should so desire that way.
This is so effing efficient from Ace. This is so freaking efficient. I really have to look up some things that he does, because at the end of the day, he does such a good job to actually just getting the information and then proving himself correct every single time. It's actually quite outstanding that he doesn't have a larger following, to be honest, because this is good, but still he should have way more. But it's probably because he focuses a lot on Dev, so maybe maybe it's just because he's hounding him.
What I'm going to do here is summarize the arguments that Dev has made in the course of his stream. To start off, Dev outright calls Mr. Weaver subhuman and an idiot for failing to appear to court over criminal charges, and that these criminal charges make him a scumbag. Of course, Dev completely leaves out the fact that the charges in question were producing sawn-off shotguns, specifically because an ATF agent undercover asked him to make such configurations to shotguns for him. So in other words,
yes, this is correct. This is fully correct. I'm still trying to actually see the argument from both sides, because at the end, could you argue that Mr. Smith was a scumbag? I wouldn't say no, from what we know, because at the end of the day, if you want to be left alone, that's on you. Would it be wiser to just come in and do the procedure? I think so. It would have been wiser if he just let it go at the start, just let it go and went his way. But this isn't what happened. And I'm not defending the state, by the way. I'm just thinking about all sides and trying to actually understand how someone could look at it. And I think that entire thing, this is the only thing that I would say that he was maybe a bit too stubborn, but I also wouldn't think that the state actually goes this far just for one effing guy. It was.
In other words, the horrific crime that he committed was in fact a victimless crime in which he was explicitly talked into doing so by a government agent. And let's not forget that the law he broke happens to be one whose very existence is an affront to the Second Amendment.
The Ruby Ridge standoff was a siege of a cabin occupied by the Weaver family in Boundary County, Ohio. Okay. They came to arrest him under a bench warrant for his failure to appear in court. Okay. 6 marshals were sent to scout the area to try to arrest him. You back?
Yes.
They wanted him to surrender peacefully, but he refused to leave his cabin. God, on some level, I'm just like, okay. People, like, break laws and then don't, like, and it's not even like they have a moral reason. They're just, like, shitheads. And then they, like, don't go to court and they get arrested. And it's like, oh, what a tragedy. The only tragedy is that they fucking, these people exist in human shells but aren't actually human. Because they're too fucking stupid to actually be considered goddamn intelligent.
So as you can see...
By the way, I actually cut out a lot of the things that he said because most of it was just basically dead air, or it... Yeah, it's not that often that I cut out shit, so there's that. But yeah, you heard what he said. And at the end of the day, I don't know if he knows the entire information behind this situation. So after seeing this, I'm still gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but at the end of the day, I know what happened in Ruby Ridge, and I just have to disagree for the most part. I mean, of course, as I said, I think it was extremely stubborn to not show in the courts, because I just do it and get the fucking situation behind you, in my opinion. But well, okay.
That is an accurate summary of Dev's first notable argument. He then covers the issue of Mr. Weaver being sent the wrong court date through the mail, and claims that because Weaver was also sent the correct court date immediately after, that this somehow makes the Weaver household completely irredeemable. What Dev manages to leave out, of course, is the fact that, as even mentioned in the Wikipedia article itself, whose very specific passage on the subject Dev audibly reads, covers the fact that the letter with the incorrect date was sent by the parole officer, i.e. the government, whereas the letter with the correct court date was sent exactly 1 day later by the private attorney, i.e. a private entity. And
I forgot about this detail. But yes, he's correct about it. Yes. And this is something that you have to keep in mind at the end of the day. Because if this happens, the state is at fault. Because if I got just something, a date like this, I would be extremely skeptical if a private person sends it to me. But what I would have done was inform myself which one of those two is actually the time I have to appear. But hey, yeah.
And as mentioned, was sent 1 day later. It is, for the record, entirely possible that the family may have received the parole officer letter later than the defense attorney letter. But even ignoring that, let's put Dev in the shoes of Mr. Weaver for a moment. Would Dev trust the word of the government or a private entity?
Correct.
First and foremost. I think we all know that he would trust the government over the word of the private entity every single time. Yes. But not only that, Dev even goes on to rant about the fact that the Weaver household did not provide a telephone number to which they can be contacted, at first ignoring the fact that they were living off the grid without any electricity whatsoever, and later on Dev even outright arguing that because they were living off the grid, they absolutely deserved what happened to them because they should face the negative consequences that happen with living off the grid, along with the good consequences.
I have to hear this one. I'm gonna be honest, every time I hear about death, I'm getting slightly angry. That's not something that's that easy with me, but I am getting slightly annoyed with him. It's not slightly, I mean, he's acting, or from the arguments I heard of him, he's acting really unhuman. Really like a effing drone.
Negative consequences in question that Dev is talking.
And acolytes, never forget your humanity. That's the most important part about us humans.
Talking about is Mr. Weaver having his dog shot dead, then his 13-year-old son getting shot in the back and killed, then his own wife getting shot and killed while carrying a baby.
Like these people exist in human shells but aren't actually human.
Oh,
they're too fucking stupid to actually be considered goddamn intelligent.
Death.
The guy wasn't informed on the correct date. Let's see.
No, just because you miss a
February
court
5th,
date.
the trial date was changed from February 9th to 20th. The court clerk sent the parties a letter informing them the date change, and notice not sent directly to Weaver, only to Hoffmeister. Okay. On February 7th, Richens sent Weaver a letter indicating that he had the case file and needed to talk to Weaver. The letter erroneously stated that Weaver's trial date was March 20th. Oh, okay. Let's see. On February 8th, Hoffmeister again attempted to contact Weaver by letter, informing him that the trial was to begin on the 20th, February 20th, that Weaver needed to contact him immediately. Okay, let's see here.
Let's see. You got new information.
Told the judge he had been unable to reach Weaver before the scheduled court date.
Oh. I'm entirely distracted because I just noticed whatever website you have pulled up says subscribe now, 10 cents for 1 month. That's pretty good.
For the Detroit Free Press?
Yeah. Anything less than 50 cents.
Weaver did not give him a telephone... So hold on. Weaver didn't give him a telephone number. So Hoffmeister sent Weaver letters on the January 19th, January 31st, February 5th. Okay. So you do have the instance where one of the many letters sent to this guy said his court date was on March 20th instead of February 20th. Fair enough. This is a guy who seems to be actively avoiding not only the police who are summoning him to fucking court, but his own goddamn lawyer. Like,
listen, Dev,
stupidity.
You can't
fucking
judge
stupidity.
People for not having telephones because technology is evil, and it rots your brain.
Stupidity.
But also, you have to prove that, Dev.
I can't believe this is the guy who's shaped most of my beliefs and most influenced my politics. God help me, please make more political philosophy videos. What do you mean, Antelope?
Dev.
I'm right on this.
Yeah, but
the more that I read, the more I'm like, this guy's just an idiot.
Yeah, but Dev, you have to prove that.
That he's an idiot?
You have to prove that with data evidence.
Okay.
For F's sake, I'm gonna be honest, this is getting every second more disgusting. Oh, because yes, we have. I'm gonna look at it objectively. To a certain degree, I understand his thinking. But at the end of the day, from what we know, our guy here didn't harm anyone. If the state just let him be, he wouldn't have harmed anyone. I would have understood completely if he effed something up, harmed someone to a high degree, that it would have been really, really, really important to actually get him and do some things. But the thing is, he didn't. It was basically just an ego battle between state and this family.
Okay. Here's the idiot. Here's the evidence.
No.
Weaver did not give his defense lawyer a telephone number to contact him with.
No, that's...
The Weavers lived off the grid, Dev. Well, sucks to be you then.
Yeah,
Then you know what?
well, listen,
No.
He's not stupid, though, if he didn't have a telephone number to give him if he doesn't have a telephone.
Hold on.
Yep.
If you
I agree with her. She's correct. She's correct about it.
live off the grid,
And by the way, if you didn't hear what she said to Dev, no, he's not stupid for not giving him a telephone number if he doesn't have a telephone number. So, for fuck's sake, Dev, you're...
and then you suffer from the negative outcomes of living off the grid, then yeah, that's on you. Because here's the thing. When you live off the grid and you enjoy the positive outcomes of living off the grid, that's also on you too. You don't get to shirk away all the negative outcomes of what you've done and only enjoy the positive ones. No. If society needs to get a hold of you because you've done something wrong and you're going to court and you're like, well, I'm off the grid, I don't know, then fuck you.
What about people's free choice to live off the grid? It doesn't make them stupid, though.
Correctly.
It's free choice to live off the grid. Well, then you know what? That comes with the responsibility of accepting all negative outcomes of living off the grid, including the fact that if you miss your court date, you get fucked.
This is just so disgusting from him. And yes, there are people who actually that live off the grid and think that they can do everything to you. And as I say, no. If you do something harmful to society, then yes. But this guy didn't. He literally just missed a court date. For fuck's sake, honestly. If he at least did some kind of terroristic act or something like that. For fuck's sake.
Dev, didn't you know that one mistake by the government totally nullifies you from all their attempts at correcting it? That's in the Constitution. Little do they know that Dev has a time machine powered by bad faith. He goes back in time and changing facts and suppressing time truth through the Mandela effect. Based.
Yeah, it seems like it, to be honest, because this is just...
Hey, well, wait. Did he live off the grid? Or was he part of society and just lived rurally? To have a farm? Does it say?
I don't know.
Because that does change whether or not he's an idiot. Because if he would literally just live, like, super rural... Like, when was this?
1992.
Yeah, so if he lived super rural, there might not have been, like, any phones out there. Because, like, when I was young but old enough to have a cell phone, so I was, like, double digits, there was no cell phone service out by my grandparents' place. But now there is, and they live pretty rural.
Hold on. It is acceptable to murder a young man and his mother because, government. No, here's what it is, right? You're summoned to court, you don't show up, all right? Then the cops come and get you, you start fighting the cops, and then you die in the fucking, in the ensuing conflict. Yeah, it's your fucking fault. course it's your fucking fault. Jesus.
He should have informed himself about the full story. Dev doesn't do reactionary things. If this was a pure reaction from actually he got misinformed about something, that's something else. But he's a commentary channel. Commentary channels inform themselves beforehand. I don't. That's the part of the reactionary part. Because if I know the stuff I'm looking at, that's not entertaining in my opinion. Oh, for fuck's sake. Or even if I know something, so I'm trying to add some kind of value.
Blonde, I just went through that. I just fucking went through that, Blonde. I just went through that. One of the many letters they sent had the wrong court date. And then afterwards, they immediately started sending him more letters with the correct court date, and he just didn't fucking reply.
I mean, you can't listen and shit. Get good, Blonde. Yo, wait, why did his mom die?
The feds didn't announce themselves.
No.
Listen, when they're coming to arrest you, they don't got to, like, announce. Be like, we're here to arrest, like...
Well, don't they have to announce that they're arresting you and try and read you your rights?
That's after they apprehend you. Like,
Yeah, but he's not doing...
The scum. Irony. Because I call criminals that actually harm people scum. He has a good argument. And again, this is a case where this could have been done peacefully. Yes. But the feds, same negation team as Waco IIRC, by the way, fucked it up really. And from the entire information I could gather, yes, the feds fucked it up big time.
Announce that the cops coming to arrest you, right?
After they apprehend you. Oh, no. Listen, if the feds have a warrant, they can just kick your door in and fucking take you and then haul you outside then say, okay, we're from the police. Here's why.
No, I understand, but I watched too many cop shows and they all like scream that, hey, police. Like, unless it's like a sting. Like, was this a sting or was it they're coming to arrest him? I'm not sure how that's true. You should look that up, actually. Yeah.
They shot his dog and his son. Damn. Sounds like you shouldn't have fought the police over something stupid.
Yeah, but why? Why were the...
God damn it, this is just disgusting. No wonder he actually deleted this. This is disgusting.
Other people shot. If he was the only one fighting, is everyone fighting?
I don't know.
Oof. Damn.
It wasn't a sting, it was a raid. Okay, whatever. Still.
I don't know about this one, Dev.
What do you mean? No.
Well, no, because, okay, no, listen, like, obviously, if one dude...
The police shot first. Yeah, I don't care if the police shot first. Sometimes there's reason for the police to shoot first, man. Like...
If the main dude, okay, I don't know what happened, but if the main dude is, like, fighting the police, then yeah, he's probably gonna get shot and die, even if he didn't start the fight. Either or, that part doesn't matter. I am more concerned about why the rest of his family also died. If the rest of his family was also fighting... That it makes sense why they died. But if they were cowering and hiding, and he was the only one fighting, then it doesn't make sense that they died.
By the way, if I remember correctly, his son shot back because he shot the dog. And the mother did absolutely nothing wrong. Absolutely zilch. She just was there. So, yeah.
Man, like...
And even the kid...
I don't know enough about it.
If the police show up with a warrant, all right, and they're like, we're gonna arrest you, and then the fucking firefight breaks out, and the police kill you or your family, it's like, well, shit, dude. Like,
and he doesn't know shit about it.
It's not the police's fault. If they had a legitimate warrant to be there, no, it's not the police's fault.
Yeah, but are they? But no, and then that's why I'm saying that you should look up the cop thing, because if you don't have to yell about being a cop, then yeah. There's no there's no moral high ground for the shooting victim.
It's also of note that despite Dev always claiming to be the sort of individual who will wait until the dust settles to ensure that he has all the facts, is so very quick to judge the Weaver household. Claiming that Mr. Weaver, who he falsely claims died in the Ruby Ridge siege, was entirely at fault. Reality, of course, disagrees with him. Dev is objectively wrong here. By his own standards, I should admit, because the courts themselves found after the siege had ended that Randy Weaver and his close friend Kevin Harris had not actually committed any crimes during the actual siege itself. Harris was completely acquitted of all the charges, which included, for the record, killing a U.S. Marshal on the grounds that his actions were an example of self-defense and therefore completely justifiable. Mr. Randy Weaver was admittedly charged with failing to appear in court and was therefore fined and served 16 months in prison as a result. However, when it came to all of his charges with regards to the actual siege, they were completely acquitted on the grounds that his actions were an example of justifiable self-defense, meaning that the courts themselves found that the US government was ultimately in the wrong, at least with regards to the actual siege itself. Not only that, but the remainder of the Weaver household, along with Mr. Harris, sued the US government separately for the behavior of the US government and received some significant settlements out of court as a direct result, with the Weaver household collectively receiving a total of $3.1 million and Mr. Harris receiving another $380,000. This could all be found in the summary at the very beginning of the Wikipedia article that Dev is reading through. That's before even bringing up the fact that government agents were later convicted of deliberately destroying evidence that further incriminated the behavior of the US government itself during the siege, meaning that yes, it was proven in court that the government at least partially tried to cover up what happened. And yes, Dev was trying to use this Wikipedia article and this incident to argue that we should trust the behavior of the government. I could keep going, but honestly, this became beating a dead horse long ago. The main point here is that Dev is once again defending authoritarianism to such an extreme degree that he has to disagree with the courts of the US government itself in order to do that. He has to argue that the US government itself and its findings with regards to what happened at Ruby Ridge are simply incorrect in order for him to be objectively correct that the Weaver family was entirely at fault. Now, as I've already mentioned at the start of this video, I will of course be providing a link to my Twitter account where I provide the full 21-minute long video, just to make Dev further eat his own lies when he tries to falsely claim that I take him out of context. And I'll also of course be providing a link in the description below to alt tech sources of the stream with the timestamp in question, so you can check that out for yourself if you should so desire. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you.
Ace, wonderful thing again. You made a banger. It's just beautifully done. And at the end of the day, for F's sake, I'm gonna be honest, this is just... Dev, for fuck's sake. You're actually a commentary channel, not a reactionary. Please, inform yourself. The bullcrap you just spit out was just disgusting. Okay, as it is, acolytes.